there's no excuses, right? Now there's the zone. There's no excuses.
Now he's a unified champion. Yeah, but there were no belts.
Yeah, but I really can't say about that. We might move on to Fundora if he want to take the fight.
Sebastian Fundora is breaking his silence on the Jaron Boots Ennis fight rumors. After being labeled as someone who was avoiding the matchup, the unified champion pushes back on the criticism, claiming there was never an official offer on the table. No more mixed signals. Fundora's ready to set the record straight and make his intentions crystal clear.
You know, I'm not one to talk that much, really. You know, one day it looked like we were fighting him, which sounded good. You know, sounded good to me. The next day, everybody's calling us things like negative things. So I was like, you know, it is what it is. That's boxing. Look at the last guy we fought, Thurman. You know, talked a lot of stuff. I mean, we saw the end result for that, but you know, until we sign that contract or anything becomes of it, I mean, we'll let you know. We'll let you know for real. I mean, because they never offered me no fight. You guys were calling me duck for a fight that never happened.
Fundora keeps pulling the thread on just how flimsy these ducking claims really are. He points out the double standard first, which likely is telling a different story altogether. Proof that the label gets slapped on based on convenience, not consistency. Boots didn't even hold a title yet, which makes the whole ducking narrative fall apart before it even gets started.
If Boots didn't win the fight and Zayas won, and we didn't fight Boots, would we still be a duck? I don't think so. So, you know, things need to make sense, you know. We were actually in talks for Josh Kelly to unify with him, but he wanted to fight in, I think, this month. He wants to fight in July or whatever. That didn't line up with us. And he wanted to fight in England. Again, that didn't line up with us, so that fight didn't become. But, you know, we never were, this guy wasn't champion yet. This guy wasn't even a champion yet. So to be saying stuff that's unrealistic.
With both fighters now sitting under the same Don's umbrella, Fundora makes it simple. There's no excuse left standing. The path to making these big fights happen is wide open. As far as he's concerned, the only thing left to figure out is the date.
There's no excuses, right? Now there's the zone, there's no excuses. I mean, not that I ever give you guys an excuse, but, you know, there's all these fights. There's a lot of money to be made, man. The money's on the table. These guys roll into FEMA, you never would. I would never. They're friends. Like, I wouldn't have expected that fight, but because they fight on the same network now, it only makes sense. And sense makes dollars.
He also breaks down why the timing feels right. With PBC's new partnership, the top names are now sharing the same platform, turning fights that once felt like long shots into realistic possibilities. It's a shift he sees as long overdue for the division, leaving fewer barriers, putting the spotlight squarely on whether the fighters are willing to make the matchup happen.
It's good, you know, I feel like PBC was the last missing piece for the zone, like you said. So to have us now on that platform as well, I mean, the other champions are for 154 are on the zone as well. So like, let's make the undisputed champion already, right?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. The other title holders, Boots Ennis, Josh Kelly, they're fighting on the zone. You've got First Ortiz, a big name at 154. He's fighting on the zone. Do you feel like these fights for you are closer maybe than they've ever been before?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Looking ahead, he doesn't hesitate to name his target, Boots Ennis. His reasoning's straightforward. Since Ennis is already sounding off and calling him out, answering that challenge just makes sense. He also points to a few cracks he spotted in Ennis's last outing, cracks he believes could work in his favor.
There's a name calling me out right now, so I think Ennis would be the first one for sure.
So what did you think of Boots, his performance against Xander Zayas?
It was good. It was a good performance. You know, he did his thing. I mean, Zayas did his thing too. We saw. I mean, I didn't watch the whole fight. I saw the highlights of the third round. I saw the stoppage. You know, but I'm pretty sure that's the key points of the fight, right? But you know, I saw some questionable things in the third round. You know, you know, the fans got what they wanted, right? It was exciting, no?
Digging deeper into his last performance, he acknowledged the strong work rate and flow on display, but Fundora believes those same openings would be there for him to exploit if the two ever shared the ring, noting down not just what a fighter did well, but what could be done better against him.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Zayas isn't a pressure fighter. You know, Zayas isn't trained that way. Zayas is a box pretty, do his thing, and make it his rhythm type of fighter, which Boots is kind of is, but Boots had more of that work rate, I guess, in that fight, more of that guts type of feeling in that fight. So, you know, he made it his.
All right, Well, I think we all want to see that fight happen early next year for sure with you and Boots Ennis.
Looking further down the road, Fundora keeps his options open. The fighters he'd welcome stepping into the ring with Yor, though it's Ennis who clearly sits closer to the front of his mind. Between the call-outs and the unresolved history between them, Ennis feels less like one option among many and more like the fight he's actively building toward.
Fight first.
I'll bring whoever, man. We were in talks for Josh Kelly, but Josh Kelly wanted to fight in July in England and all these things, so that fight fell off. But I mean, by the time Boots became champion, unified champion, we already had this fight lined up with the mandatory. So, but I like both of those fights. I like both of them. Next year, man. Well, we always been like the past 4 years been fighting in March. I'll see you guys in March. Hit me up. I'll see you guys in March.
Breaking down the matchup, Bradley explains exactly what makes Fundora such an awkward puzzle, letting smother opponents with volume while keeping them locked outside their comfort zone. But he isn't sold on it being unsolvable. He points to Boots Ennis' slickness and his all-around technical arsenal as exactly the kind of tools needed to close that distance and make Fundora's night a difficult one.
A guy that I feel that could give Boots a run from his money. He could. And I only say that because of his attributes. Not because of his boxing skills. It's because of his attributes. That's why. This guy has, and it's Sebastian Fundora. You guys know who he is. He's a southpaw too, right? He has range. He has volume. He has punching power as well. Okay? He knows how to keep his distance.
Shifting to the business angle, he lays out why this fight isn't happening anytime soon, and it's not complicated. Nothing requires Fundora to step in with Ennis right now, which gives his camp all the leverage they need to sidestep the matchup entirely. Bradley goes a step further, suggesting this isn't just about timing or scheduling, it's a calculated dodge.
You see Fundora wanting to fight because he don't have to fight his mandatory. I'm letting y'all know that right now. He got a year to fight his mandatory. An entire year with the WBC, right? And all he has to do is ask the WBC, hey, I want to pursue this bigger venture with Boots Ennis, but as you see, the manager, all right, they don't want it to do anything. They don't want anything to do with Boots. Nothing to do with Boots. And so people saying, well, Boots ain't fighting nobody. Boots ain't fight. So when now he wants to fight somebody, right? And nobody wants to fight him.
He circles back to a point he clearly feels strongly. That skill on display should outweigh what's written on paper. He makes the case that Boots Ennis is the best the division has to offer right now. With frustration, if things were handled the way they should be, fights like this wouldn't take nearly as long to come together.
Boots considered, I would say, the best in the division or the most talented. We're not going by resume. We're going by just eye test talent. It's Boots. That makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. And that's what the fans want, man. The fans deserve it. Fighters always forget that the fans, you guys at home, you guys watching, you the ones that's paying for this. Y'all the ones that buy the tickets. Y'all the ones. I was a fighter, I understand that.
Turning to the physical riddle Fundora presents, AM Sports Media hosts goes on what makes him so tricky. A frame paired with a relentless and awkward pressure style isn't something you find twice in one division. Their read is clear. This would be the toughest examination of Boots Ennis' career so far, not just physically, but mentally.
The styles makes fight is big, as we see in this matchup here. Fundora's what, 6'7"? Got what, a 90,000 reach, something like that. So, I mean, this will be a big test, a biggest test for Boots of his career, of course, if he were to fight Fundora. All that focus, lack of focus, that bet not happen here. He gonna be sleep.
I agree to an extent. I think, you know, and I'm so big on styles.
They land on a truth as old as the sport. Matchups aren't just about who's better, they're about who fits. And even with respect to Fundora's physical edge, they still find themselves siding with Ennis, mainly because they don't believe Fundora has fully patched the holes in his own defense. They see it as Boots is more capable of finding.
Styles can make fights. And I think from a stylistic standpoint, I think Boots has demonstrated that there are things that he can do in the ring that would give Fundora a problem. And problems.
Oh, absolutely.
And I still don't think Fundora has necessarily showed me that he has closed those vulnerabilities, or at least significantly reduced those vulnerabilities in his most recent fights. He's better, but I'm still not sure he's really truly closed those vulnerabilities out.
Yeah, I'm still favoring Boots in that matchup too.
While Boots draws a clear distinction when comparing his potential opponents, while Virgil Ortiz carries plenty of name recognition, he sees Fundora as an entirely different animal, practically a built-to-order puzzle given his towering frame.
I feel like that kind of like even out, because Fundora got the belt, but Virgil kind of like got somewhat of a name. But I feel like, then again, I don't know. I would say Fundora probably the bigger fight, only because he had created character. People, what are you, 6'5", 6'6".
Ain't just be Thurman.
Okay.
Talk to me about that.
He doesn't hold back when breaking down his path to victory here. He starts with the mental side, predicting the grind of headlining and the demands of a full camp will leave Fundora running on empty by fight night. To Boots, the moment simply feels bigger than his rival can handle.
I know for a fact, this is gonna get to him. He gonna be burnt out from doing this pay-per-view stuff all day. Media's doing this, doing that. Fight week gonna drain him. He having a fat camp right now. He like 190 right now. Like, bro, he asked for all this time to fight me. Like, bro, all this stuff gonna be too much for him.
You spoke about someone in your camp that he apparently sport. Where did that come from?
Yeah, I don't know who he's talking about. He pointed to one of those guys that was
Amari.
I don't really know Amari like that, but I know he's part of the Metro team. But I don't really know him like that. I didn't bring him for camp or nothing, so I don't know what he was talking about.
From there, he zeroes in on style, dismissing Fundora as sluggish and easy to read, with little head movement to speak of. As the division's biggest draw, Boots insists that reach advantage or not, Fundora simply won't have the tools to handle sustained offensive pressure. He's confident his speed closes that gap fast.
It don't matter what he do. I feel like he can't. He too slow. He don't move his head. Like, he getting better, but I'm gonna be too much for him. What I got coming to him, he not gonna be able to take. I'm saying that now.
Eddie called this a takeover for you at 154. Ultimately, you and Fundora have to cross paths.
I feel like everybody gotta come through me regardless through this weight division. Like I said before, I'm the cash cow of this division. If anybody want to fight, they gonna make the most money fighting me than anybody else. So I feel like I'm the cash cow of this division.
And when he circles back to the Thurman fight for reference, his game plan comes into full focus. Get in tight and never leave Fundora room to let that length take over. It's a blueprint built on pressure and discipline. One Boots insists he's more than ready to execute the moment the opportunity presents itself. To him, the key isn't matching Fundora's reach, it's denying him the space to make that reach matter.
Him losing Keith Thurman, losing to Fundora, what do you feel like Keith Thurman should have did to deal with a guy that tall, since you're used to dealing with bigger guys?
With taller guys, you got stay in their chest. You got to be in their chest. You got to dog them out, and don't let them get no room to breathe, basically.
Chris Algieri brings a different lens to this matchup, starting with just how tricky Fundora's puzzle really is. He points to the length, sure, but also to something more recent noticeable growth in how Fundora uses his size, paired with a newfound patience that's replaced the riskier habits of his earlier fights.
Fundora is such a difficult puzzle. He's so long, and he's getting better. He's improving. He's learning how to use his size. He's using his jab. He's being more disciplined. He's not taking risks like he used to. Talk about a guy who used to allow people to hit him and then has figured out that you shouldn't do that at the highest level in that Brian Mendoza fight. But since then, he's been very, very good. So, yeah, I can understand why people would see him as the final guy because, again, with those physical advantages and the way that he's getting better, very, very difficult to deal with. Virgil, the inactivity really worries me because you got sharks circling. And Jaron, with the level of talent he has.
From there, he zooms out to the division as a whole, painting the weight class as unpredictable territory where conventional logic simply doesn't hold up. With so much talent and so many contrasting builds in the mix, Algieri argues picking a clear favorite on paper becomes almost impossible. Seen Jerry, anyone in that division can beat anyone else on the right night. Until then, every prediction is just theory waiting to be tested.
Yeah, it's a lot of very good champions at 154. We got to see how they all match up because boxing math doesn't work. We got to have them fight.
Let me ask you this about Virgil, because the knock on him is he's 28.
Yeah.
And he hasn't won a title. Most people still call him a prospect and try to downgrade him. What do you think about that?
No, I think him not being a champion has nothing to do with him. He's been willing to fight all the guys. He's got good, solid wins on his record. He's fought really tough guys. The Madrimov fight was extremely impressive. He's the Bohachuk win, which a knockdown, drag-out fight himself. So he's been tested. He's been in tough.
He closes by breaking down the stylistic contrast at the heart of it all. Boots, a fluid and switch stance who is a great counterpuncher, going up against Fundora, a towering, relentless force. For Algieri, there's only one way to settle a clash like that. Let them actually get in the ring.
So even trying to rank people just because they're all so different. You know, you got Boots, who's a fluid, side-switching, counter-punching, killer puncher. You got Virgil, who's a two-fisted destroyer, comes to get you. Fundora is the towering inferno. He's 6'9" or however tall he is. You got Josh Kelly, who's a slippery guy. So you've got a lot of different styles. You got to see how they match up.
I thank you for your time because I see they're going to redo this, so I got
some work to do.
Sean Zittel and Sean Porter take a step back here, using Ennis's dominant showing as a reason for deeper scrutiny rather than blind confidence heading into a potential Fundora fight. They draw a line between perception and reality. Yes, Boots looks fast, sharp, and dangerous through the screen, but they stress that translating that dominance against an opponent built to disrupt his rhythm is an entirely different challenge.
See, now this performance makes you do just that, and that's the credit to his performance.
Yeah.
I think that speaks volumes of how good he looked. Is now we have to do that pause, long thought.
Because there's what's on the screen, and then there's real life, right? So
and in real life, he's different.
Let me try to explain that, right? So let's just for the sake of the analogy, it's like you see, and we'll use Jamie Foxx as an example. That's my guy. So let's say Fox is one thing on screen, and then off screen, he's a completely different.
The conversation shifts to something more strategic here. They point out that Boots tends to lean heavily on natural ability and deep skills, but against someone as singular as Fundora, they argue that approach won't cut it. This calls for precision, not volume picking the right things for the right moments, instead of trying to unload everything at once. Against an opponent with Fundora's size and awkward rhythm, every movement has to serve a purpose, because one rushed exchange can quickly turn into the kind of fight he wants.
Phil, I know about Boots. I don't know if they game plan. To me, it seems like Boots is like, and Dad Bozy, we just gonna get you ready. Can't nobody beat you. Well, sometimes you gotta get ready for the guy across from you. And what I now know about this dude, he getting ready for who's across from him. And that's why I'm breathing like that, because I know without a shadow of a doubt, he's going to be ready, he's going to have the right weapons, and he's going to be calling on the right weapons all night long. I have no doubt about that from this dude right here. And I know with all 16 plus weapons that Boots got.
They then turn to the physical factor that no amount of film study can fully prepare a fighter for Fundora's sheer size in person. They note that standing across from that kind of presence on fight night introduces a challenge you can't simulate, testing a fighter's ability to adjust on the fly when the original game plan starts to break down. What looks manageable on a screen can feel completely different under the lights, where his reach, constant pressure, and unusual angles force split-second decisions that no sparring session can perfectly recreate.
You'll watch it. That's what Keith did. Keith studied this dude front to back. He told us a week ago.
Yeah.
He knew everything about him.
Yeah.
But like your point, off screen and on screen. Then in person, you go, once it's fight night and he's across from you and throwing 60 punches, you go, that motherfucker is really tall.
Yeah.
He's really big.
And
it's different.
It's different. And you've sparred with heavyweights because they're that height. And you know, and it's just on fight night, things are just a tad bit different. I will say this about Keith, I don't think he game planned for this fight.
Moreover, Shady McCoy and Max Kellerman frame it as the obvious next chapter. With Xander Zayas already behind him, the path forward for Boots naturally leads to a towering test in Sebastian Fundora, a fight he sees as exactly the kind of statement needed to cement elite status.
He beat Xander and he beats him convincingly. Then he goes on to fight this 7-foot giant and Fundora and whoops on him. And now the next thing we're gonna talk about is, when's he gonna fight Terrence Crawford? Bring Terrence Crawford.
You were picking Fundora last time.
It can happen.
Last time we spoke, you were picking Fundora.
Oh, nobody's being. But I'm just saying.
For you think that
what I'm saying
if
is,
Boots does with Xander what I think he's capable
nobody's
of,
being Fundora.
I'll take Boots over Fundora if he looks really good against Ennis.
Looking further down the line, Punch the Podcast host lays out a timeline worth watching. Once Boots wraps up his expected unification with Josh Kelly toward year's end, and Fundora handles his mandatory defense, the pieces could realistically fall into place for an undisputed title fight somewhere around the middle of 2027. It's the kind of scenario that would settle every lingering argument at once, giving fans the definitive answer they've been chasing since both men started climbing toward the top of the division.
Is Sebastian Fundora out now looking for a dance partner. He is apparently taking his mandatory, again, a name that you may not have heard before, Amal Hadrabeej, is a 23-0 southpaw out of the US. Now, this was supposed to be happening in the fall, which is September, October. So, Boots and Josh Kelly, Sebastian takes his mandatory, that's the end of the year, done. Let's say Fundora wins or the other guy, doesn't really matter. Then there could be a undisputed fight halfway through 2027.
Two towering resumes, one division-defining question, and the answer could reshape 154 pounds for good. Stay tuned, because when this fight finally lands, you won't want to miss a second of it. Hit subscribe so you're here when it happens.